Hello again. Let's talk about something extremely important, and I have a prop for it, which will make it more fun. A lot of energy goes into food preservation and distribution, and I would like to reduce those as problems. It's great to preserve food because then you can have it during the season you're producing it and move it into another season and use it then. So you can do that with root cellars to reduce how quickly it goes bad. You could do a lot of things. You could ferment it, all sorts of stuff. In this case, we're going to talk about dehydration. And this is a piece of dehydrated beef that I bought. It was fairly cheap. And it is I don't think it even says how much it weighs. That seems wrong. I suppose I should weigh this, but I don't have a scale that's this small, so I can't do it. Oh well, I'll keep the packaging and we'll see what happens. It doesn't weigh much. And so the first question I have is, before it was dehydrated, how much did this meat weigh? And this is beef, right? It's a very thin piece of beef. I mean, amazingly thin. So what I bought doesn't amount probably to that much fresh beef. But I do like, since I don't have a refrigerator and I don't want a refrigerator, I do like that it's stable. And I'm going to take a little piece of this, not that much because I want to eat most of it. Wow, it's very chewy. I'm going to take this size of piece right here. I'm going to put it in this water and then see if it rehydrates and wonder how big it is. I think it's going to be very thin. Okay, if I eat this thing, it's going to take forever. I guess if I was going to cook with it, I would actually rehydrate it. Yeah, I would. And I think they sell shredded beef like this too, which would be handy since the pieces would be smaller and it would rehydrate quicker maybe. Now, one bad thing is I don't know where this beef came from. And with any meat that I eat, I want to know where it came from. I want to know what conditions the animals were raised in because I want to support farming that doesn't make animals suffer. I also don't know what kind of weird chemicals or medicines or whatever they did with this. It was kind of like beef jerky. It's interesting that it's not very salty. It likely does have some salt. One of my plans, and I got a lot of plans. I made a big list here of all this stuff I want to do. It's ridiculous. I'm trying to organize my life and, and figure things out. But one of my big plans is to build a room-sized solar dehydrator. And those would be super useful to have in many places because then your product can become lighter and you can ship it farther. Let's say it was a fruit, for example. Fruit has a lot of water content, and so it goes bad quickly, and different fruits go bad quicker than others, but like I know of a place that grows blueberries, and I was thinking during the season of blueberries, I could go down there and buy blueberries from them at a really cheap price, since then they don't have to use packaging, and they don't have to ship it far, far away to sell it. I'd be buying a bunch. I would take those, put them in my room-sized solar dehydrator, which would actually be using an evacuated tube solar hot water heater for the heat part, which is different than any design I've ever heard of. And I have a dehydrator now, but the sun actually hits it, heats up the air, it passes through the stuff. This would work way better. It would use the thermal mass of the thing. It would keep working at night because I've heated up the thermal mass, and so it'd be taking that really dry, cold air in the nighttime and then moving it past the food. So very quickly it would get it very, very dry. That sounds pretty exciting, doesn't it? It's a whole project I want to do. I want to probably crowdfund it. I won't make any money off of it. That isn't really the point. The point is to prove it works, to get the design right, probably making more than one. Making one and then, having temperature and humidity sensors at different points, and then making another one that tweaks that and gets it exactly correct. And I've got a whole book just on food dehydration. So that would tell me what's the optimal temperature, and it might matter what it is too. If we had the right valves, we could actually adjust the temperature of it. And if we had to, I really think the hot water heater idea will work out. But if we had to, we could have a charcoal or wood thing that would add to that. But that is not the goal. Now, for a farm that's producing a huge amount of food, that could change completely the economics of how they distribute their product. I know a fruit place down on the coast here, and they sell very heavy fruit products that are primarily got tons of water in them, and they sell them to places far away, and you can actually get them really cheap out of the back of pickup trucks because they know that stuff is all going to go bad really fast. I could buy an entire pickup truck at a really cheap price of some great fruits and then process it, have a bunch of people here on these tables and cut them up, get them into that dehydrator, dehydrate them, and so we're buying it at the cheapest time to buy it in the cheapest way, and we're moving that into all the rest of the year during seasons when that product isn't even available at all. You can imagine this with tomatoes, for example. You've heard of sun-dried tomatoes. Well, these would be dried tomatoes, and tomatoes are really expensive during part of the year and really cheap during other parts. And I'm also working on other ways of growing tomatoes without a greenhouse, because I just need to grow bunches of them, I think 2 times of the year. And then if I dehydrate the hell out of all those, then we have all the tomatoes we want all year long at the cheapest possible price. Pretty smart. Also, we could collect the seeds on those, and it's not that hard to germinate tomato seeds. You do have to do a weird thing with them. Every seed is a little different, right? You have to put them in some water, and you have to let them kind of almost start to rot a little bit. It takes 2-3 days. And that kind of gets this outer shell on the tomato, it removes it, and then you can plant the tomato seed. So we'll figure all that out. I'm working on it. I have so many cool projects. I hope you are watching my videos, supporting the project. I'm going to give you a way to donate if you don't know it already. And I need funding to do all these cool things. And once I do one, the point isn't that individual one. The point is the design gets given away to the entire world. And then people all over the world benefit from using less energy to feed themselves. Brilliant. Useful. Thank you. Goodbye. So I ate the piece of meat that was soaking, and I didn't soak it very long, so it didn't change things very much. It was salty. And I know we canned rabbit meat, and that we did not have to add salt to. But we had to use energy to do that. We used propane in a pressure cooker. Could I use an evacuated tube solar hot water heater to heat a pressure cooker up enough to do canning? That's a good question. Now, that wouldn't reduce the weight, but I know we did 1 can of rabbit meat that after we stopped doing it, after I stopped raising rabbits, I ate that 5 years after we canned it, and it was fine. So that might be the better way to go, especially if you're not considering that you're going to ship it or anything. So yeah, all these details matter. I guess you would need to salt fruits and veggies, so that would not be a factor there. I guess we have to just consider every type of food that we want to preserve and how we want to do that and how much extra work we want to do it. In many cases, we can just toss it in a root cellar. We make it last 2-3 months longer, and no real work was done except putting it in there. So it's a lot of decisions to make about many things.